Welcome, everybody, to the final pick and roll regular season episode of the season here. And happy Easter to everybody that is celebrating. If you guys don't know, we go live with pick and roll we did it all throughout the regular season. We're going to be doing it next week as well for the play-in games. We have some other great content coming for you guys throughout the playoffs with just educational betting content, free picks like we do on this show. So get subscribed to the Board YouTube channel today. And also follow us on Twitter at the Board HQ so you can make sure that you stay up to date on everything that is going on with the show throughout the playoffs, because it may not necessarily be just your standard live streams on weekdays as it has been throughout the season. And we are very much looking to finish strong for the season. I mean, it's been an absolutely sensational season of betting here. We usually start off the show by recapping the plays. Unfortunately for today, the one play from yesterday voided. Both players of the same game parlay sat out for the Orlando Magic against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not really much we can do to control that. But as I said, this season as a whole has been absolutely outstanding. We'll pull up the bet stamp tracking for the records this season. 129 wins, 97 losses, plus 16.5 units of profit, 6.3% ROI. This is the highest we have ever had the units for this season. So hopefully with the two picks that we have today, we can get over the line as well with some winners and finish very, very strong here. After the official picks for today's show, me and Pips are going to be doing our NBA award selection. So I'm very interested to see what Pips has. We have not revealed who we have selected to each other as of yet, so you will be getting our real-time reaction. So with that, no recap to be done. So let's get into the official picks for today's show. We're going to put the two picks in right away here. We're going to lock them both in so we make sure we get the price before anything may change. And then we are going to get Pips to analyze the picks and tell us why he is going with each of those sides here. So without further ado, some people might think, I just asked Pips before we went live, is it difficult to find picks at this time? And he said that it is easy when the Houston Rockets are involved. So the first official play is going to be involving those Houston Rockets. And we're going to be taking our man, Alperen Şengün, 12 plus points. And we're putting him with Simi Hailuk, 3+ threes, going back to Simi Hailuk. Can't believe we've done 2-player props with Simi Hailuk. We're going to be taking him 3+ threes for -110 at BetMGM. And I actually just noticed the other one moved off of its original price here. So we'll review that. We'll get Pips to review that one. The second play shifted 5 cents. We'll see if we can do anything else to find a different play, if there's a different book, or if that's an acceptable price here. So we'll give that 1 second here. But for the first pick, Rockets and Hornets, we kind of understand who they should be playing at this point. So do you want to go through the first one and then decide for the second one, or
yeah, we can go with the first one. I'll just obviously say that Houston Rockets still allows the most threes in the entire league. And if you take a look at the roster construction of the Charlotte Hornets now, we have Mark Williams, doesn't shoot threes. We have Dennis Smith Jr. not shooting threes unless it's wide open spot up three. We have Bryce McGovern also standing in the corner. If he gets the wide open three, he'll shoot it. JT Thor, not a great 3-point shooter. So if you take a look at the entire roster, it's down to Sima Hailuk to shoot threes. And against the Rockets, he should get plenty of opportunities. And it's not like he's on the tier right now, but I don't think Houston Rockets will give him much more attention because of it. I think this is a game where no one will do anything extraordinary, so they'll stick to their game plans and get the game done. And yeah, I think we saw the last couple of games against the Raptors. He had very difficult matchup because they were focusing on him. First game they haven't, and he scored 5 threes. Next game they did some pressure on him, and they had OG on him and a couple of difficult matchups. And usually Raptors run people off the 3-point line because they show at the line. and he still scored three threes on 8 attempts. And yeah, I just think against the Rockets, with him shooting so hot, I think he should be able to get his shots. I would expect him to get 8 to 10 shots, and with his efficiency, that should be enough to score from 3 to 5 threes. So yeah, that's great spot for him. The other part is Alperen Şengün. I love Mark Williams and his defense, but they are not helping him inside much, and I don't think he has what it takes to defend Alp. Alp last couple of games just played amazing. Even against the Lakers and Anthony Davis, he scored 18 points last game against the Denver Nuggets, 20 points against Nikola Jokic. That's not a difficult matchup, but still, he didn't get into the foul trouble against the Nikola Jokic. And when he gets the minutes, he usually scores over this line. He had 21 against Claxton and Nets. He had 15 against the Detroit Pistons. And that's interesting to have 15 against the Pistons because Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green were like scoring like whatever they want, getting whatever they want, and they still got LP to score 15 points. So yeah, I expect a bit more usage tonight for LP, especially if Dennis Smith Jr. is playing, one of the best backcourt defenders in the league. He'll approve some pressure. Mark Williams will maybe go up to the level of the screen on Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. So LP should have open lanes and post ups and everything. So I think this bet is like pretty safe bet for slate like this, the slate that we have tonight.
Yeah. With these two teams, I mean, Charlotte, with all due respect, Charlotte, I don't think can really do anything less to this roster. So I don't think we're in really any sort of jeopardy for play time here. Simi Hyluk, maybe at this point for guys' motivation, like Simi Hyluk earning himself his next NBA contract right now. So we can't certainly say, but we can expect him to really want to show out here. And as you were mentioning, and we've said so many times this season, Rockets give the most threes. So Simi Hyluk should have some success there. So anything on the second play that you want to amend, anything you want to change, or what do you think we should do here?
Yeah, unfortunately, alternative lines for assists are not up on BetMGM, which is kind of weird because they usually have it up the same way as the DraftKings. They usually just release the lines after DraftKings and they copy most of it. And I think we can go into discussion and maybe just check out at the end of the stream. It did BetMGM added the assist lines.
Okay. Why don't we let people know what it is just so they can also check in and maybe keep us informed on that. And we'll say this one, we wanted at -20. It shifted to -125. So the second play hopefully is going to be Jaden Ivey over 5.5 assists paired with James Wiseman over 11.5 points for -120 odds. It's in the Pistons game at the Pacers. Within minutes, like we get the show started as quickly as possible. We didn't even do a recap today, and it shifted off to -125, unfortunately. So hopefully we can get that open at BetMGM and get that for -120, or hopefully it can move back on DraftKings, which it does at times. So we will see on that. But instead of waiting, we're going to see at the end of the show. So stick around for the end of the show so we can hopefully get that second pick in. For the time being, we're going to go to our discussion piece. We're going to be talking about our NBA awards predictions. We're doing the MVP, DPOI, Sixth Man of the Year, MIP, and the Rookie of the Year. So we kind of gave it away yesterday when we did our All-NBA selections. By the way, guys, I'm going to clip the All-NBA talk we did yesterday and make it a video. If you haven't caught that yet, it'll be out at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. But, Pips, the tough decision. Who is your pick for MVP this season in the NBA?
Yeah, it's difficult because it's three-way street, not two-way as everyone's saying.
That's true.
I think well deserved all three. If you choose any of it, you are not wrong. It's subjective, and I think everyone can have arguments for all three. I'll go and say that my pick is Joel Embiid. I will have I have more like difficult choice between Giannis and Jokic for second place, but I'll just go and say Joel Embiid for the first one. If you take a look at the offense, best offense is Nikola Jokic. Best defense, I think people have it wrong this season, but I would say for defensive side, I will have Joel Embiid tied with Giannis. And I'm not saying Giannis had a poor year. I mean, he had a down year on defensive end. I'll say that. I watched a lot of games and he made some mistakes on defensive end that usually are not happening. And he, even with those mistakes, he's still top 5 defensive players in the league. I just think Joel Embiid got there this season. Last couple of weeks, when he was logged in, he was defending awesome. He was great, great inside. And don't we should just take into account that Giannis is playing all ball defense, staying on the worst opposing wing player, and he's helping off him inside while having best point of attack defensive player, maybe one of the best ever in Drew Holiday. And he has Brook Lopez and drop coverage, probably like top 3 defensive player of the year candidates. So he's playing with all-time great defensive players, and of course he will have great numbers and he'll look great, even though he's great. Like, but he's great as a weak side defender and off-ball defender. So yeah, I don't think there's huge difference that we can say like, okay, we have clearly Jokic for offense and clearly Giannis for defense. I'll say it's close between Embiid and Giannis on defense, and I think Embiid is better on offense this season, at least more efficient. Giannis had a very down year with efficiency this season, so I'll go say like it's Jokic is slightly better on offense than Embiid is, but Embiid is way better on defense than Jokic is. And also have in mind that Embiid is playing defense with backcourt of Tyrese Maxey and James Harden and
Tobias
Tobias
Harris
Harris.
involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they have almost the same defensive rating as Bucks with all-time great defensive players. So I'll just say like my pick is for sure Joel Embiid.
Okay, makes sense. I personally don't really see it as the 3-horse race. I think if Giannis won it, I really do believe Jokic and Embiid should get it over him. Not that we're splitting hairs, of course, with this discussion, but it could go to me. It should go to either Embiid or Jokic. I very slightly lean Embiid. You kind of highlighted the reasons why, so I agree with you on this one. That I think Jokic's defense has been poor enough this season that you can't overlook it when you're comparing him to as in as tight of a race as the one he is currently in with Joel Embiid. And the way Joel Embiid has finished this season as well has really, I think, cemented his spot there. Interesting to me, I don't know if you've looked at the odds, but I have futures odds for all of these up. Embiid has moved into a minus 1,000 favorite to win the MVP. I believe just a few days ago, it was pretty much tied, but Embiid has moved to minus 1,000 favorite. You can get Giannis and Jokic for plus 1,200. This is at FanDuel. I looked around. I didn't see any better prices on Giannis or Jokic.
It's the same on DraftKings and BetMGM.
So this is personally, I don't think Jokic will win, but I also don't think he should be at plus 1,200. This is way too steep a price considering how tight this race is. What do you think about these odds?
I think Joel Embiid will win it, but it will be close. And yeah, this is just the narrative's movement on the lines.
I agree. Personally, I took a pop at Jokic at this price. I don't think he'll win, but plus 1,200 for a race that I think is like.
Do you think he has
10%
chance to win it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, let's actually check the percentage on this. You said it's so they're implying a probability of 7.69% that Jokic wins. I would give his chances in the 40s at the minimum. They're giving Embiid a 91% chance of winning this award with these odds, and
I'll put it
flat out incorrect.
Yeah, I will put it like 70-30 for
Yeah.
Embiid.
And even still, that's a massive edge on Jokic. So
Yeah.
something to take note of. That's just an insane price at plus 1,200. All right, let's move to the next award. We're going to talk about the Defensive Player of the Year. This is another one kind of spoiled from our All NBA show from yesterday. But Pips, your DPOI, and why do you pick that player?
I'm on it the entire year, and yeah, it's Jaren Jackson Jr. for me. But
Mm,
personally, he got his minute up. The reason people were shutting him down is his minutes. Yeah, on the season he's playing only 28 and a half minutes a game, but since the All Star he moved up to upper 30, almost 31 minutes a game. Production still same, only better on offense. And yeah, I think having the second best defensive rating while playing at Memphis Grizzlies, so he's not playing with Drew Holiday and Giannis, or Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez, and still amazing. I mean, like he has on the starting lineup Ja Morant as a point of attack sometimes. That's crazy.
not great.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks is great on defense. But lately their defensive rating remained the same, and Steven Adams is out. Dylan Brooks missed some games. Then Desmond Bain missed some games. So yeah, they had so many problems throughout the season, and they still remain top defensive ratings, second the best defensive rating in the league, while playing at such a high pace, which is more difficult. Like this is the thing. Like pace is accounted in defensive rating, but it's more difficult to play good defense on a higher pace
Yeah.
because there is a lot of transition defense, and that's hard to defend. That's more difficult to defend than half court defense. So I will say, yeah, it's taken into account that Cleveland Cavaliers have the lowest pace in the league, and Memphis has the highest pace in the league, and they have only zero point 0.03 difference on defensive rating. And I will say, like for me, Memphis Grizzlies has the best defensive rating in the league. Even though the stats don't say it, but I think the best defensive player on a team with best defensive rating, and he's such a before he got back from the injury, Memphis had 25th defensive rating in the league. So they went from 25th to the first defensive rating when he came back, and that's just mind blowing.
I was gonna make that exact point, which would
That's
also
just mind
indicate
blowing.
which would also indicate that I'm gonna be going with Jaren Jackson Jr. here.
Also, if you take a look, one key thing. If you take a look, the game Jokic played against the Memphis Grizzlies, and he was guarded by Jaren Jackson Jr. single coverage. And we take a look at Jokic against the Brook Lopez single coverage. Jokic couldn't do anything. It's difficult to say, but I watched the game, and Jokic had so much. He had troubles to even get the ball into position because how long the hands of Jaren Jackson are. He was just denying him the ball, the entry pass. He was running around, and he held Jokic under 20 points in a game that Denver lost. And while on the other side, Jokic scored easily 30 points against Brook Lopez in 3 quarters in a blowout. So not huge, but like he's great help defender, and he's winning the award as great help defender. But when he had the chance to defend best players in single coverage as one-on-one defense, he was also amazing. And the thing is, Drew Buck's system, defensive scheme, as playing Lopez in deep drop coverage with Drew Holiday as a point of attack defender and Giannis as a helper, helps a ton his numbers, while Jaren Jackson Jr. is just smashing everyone around. And it's way more difficult for him to play the way he's playing on defense, and puts him in way more foul trouble situation because he's coming from the weak side, protecting the rim, which is very difficult than just popping back in pick and roll and just being like this. And I mean, he's amazing at it. He's one of the best, probably the best at the drop defense. I'll put some names inside next to Lopez, but he's probably the best, especially this season. But it's the best scheme for him to play on. So yeah, I think the Jaren Jackson Jr. is very more versatile. He can play 4 and be a great helper. He can play at 5, switch, blitz, drop coverage, everything. And yeah, I just think for me, Jaren Jackson Jr. is the defensive player of the year this season.
Yeah, even with the less minutes, nobody defends the rim like Jaren Jackson Jr. And I would take him in those minutes, those less minutes over Brook Lopez. Not that Brook Lopez isn't a good defender, of course. And the foul trouble doesn't come from Jaren Jackson's rim protection. It comes
Yeah,
from
but also one
the
thing.
stupid reach and stuff that he does.
Yeah, another thing. Lopez is playing only 30 minutes a game, so it's 2 minutes difference.
Yeah, it's not that much more, is
Yeah,
it?
so yeah, that's irrelevant.
So Jaren Jackson for us is the defensive player of the year. The market, I kind of agree with the way it's shaped right now. I can see Lopez getting it. We have Jaren Jackson minus 165, Lopez plus 135, and the third place is Bam at plus 4,500. So it's firmly a 2-horse race here on FanDuel. Let's go now into the 6th man of the year discussion. This one,
the most interesting one.
This could be a little bit more polarizing here. I think this is other than MVP, the biggest debate. The odds wouldn't say that, but who is your 6th man of the year pick and why?
I think the one that deserves the award, if you look at everything, it's Malcolm Brogdon. The one I would like to win it, it's Emmanuel Quickley.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Why don't I show you the odds here? I was personally shocked when I saw this morning. Emmanuel Quickley is minus 310 to win the 6th man of the year on FanDuel. Malcolm Brogdon is plus 230. Third place is Bobby Portis with plus 6,500. So it's a 2-horse race here. I was incredibly shocked here. If you have access to Canby books like Bet Rivers, I think Barstool, you can get Brogdon at plus 250 as well here for best price. But yeah, I cannot believe how much.
I'll explain it in like 15 to 20 seconds. So first off, Brogdon has averaged more points, more rebounds, more assists on higher usage, on lower minutes, and better efficiency.
Way better efficiency.
And lower minutes. And he didn't start a single game this season, while he quickly pumped up his number in start. Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I genuinely could not believe this. So my pick, I can't believe it because I also chose Brogdon here. Genuinely could not believe my eyes at these numbers. Malcolm Brogdon this season is shooting 48% from the field, almost 45% from 3, averaging 14.9 points per game. And Quickley is around the same for points per game. Assists and rebounds are also quite similar here, but the efficiency and which Brogdon is playing like this, the impact that he is having on this Celtics team, like he is exactly what this team needs. I mean, you could say the same for Emmanuel Quickley. I'm not saying he's not a good 6th man or anything, but I think Brogdon has just been at a different level than Emmanuel Quickley from managing the bench and what he brings to the team in general. Quickley is having a phenomenal season, but I just think Brogdon has been the better 6th man here. So I am firmly shocked at these odds here. I've also taken that Brogdon number at plus 250 because I just feel like I just don't think this is the correct price on this one. What do you think?
I think it's the price is reflecting the narratives and what people would like more for whoever to win. And I think the Knicks having anyone contending for anything is a huge edge for people for that vote. I think everyone is like into Knicks' favors and the market and everything. So I think while we have everything on the Brogdon side, I wouldn't be surprised if they vote out Quickley as a winner.
I agree. This is a good comment here from Aaron Campbell. He says a lot of these writers are publicly behind Emmanuel Quickley, which is shaping the market pretty hard. I agree. Like guys like Zach Lowe, Chris Herring, guys like at ESPN, The Athletic, shape the markets a bit. I think a lot of the times though, I think sports books fail to pick up on a lot of those things. I'll give an example. Last year, I felt like Scotty Barnes picked up. Like, I'm not just trying to brag. Like I had Scott. I bet Scotty Barnes after the season to win Rookie of the Year. He was a big underdog to Evan Mobley, and ESPN analysts and athletic guys, like guys who actually have votes, were really starting to get on the Scotty Barnes hype. So I felt like it wasn't interpreted enough. And I think for Jokic in this scenario, there's a lot of people still betting Jokic or picking Jokic in a recent. So Tim Bontemps, ESPN, does a straw poll where he gets a lot of actual voters to vote on their award winners and or for MVP, and it was split like exactly pretty much on Jokic and Embiid. And since then, Embiid has sat out against the Nuggets, which people are taking that into account. I don't think it should count very much, but people are. And since then, Jokic obviously had that 50-point game against the Boston Celtics, which changes things. But maybe that's the case with this quickly vote. But I very much feel as though sportsbooks sometimes don't take that information into account, which is a bit of a handicap I think you could use in the future here. But yeah, you think? Do you think minus 310 on quickly is where the market should be at this point?
I would say market should be at probably, I would say plus 120, 130 on quickly. I would say Brogdon should be slight favorite, even though if you look at the numbers and everything, he should be heavily favorite.
Yeah, that's
I
what
just
I
said
thought.
Emmanuel Quickly of the bench. As a sixth man, averaged 12 points a game, and he started 20 games. This is 19 games this season, and averaged 40 minutes in 19 starts.
Mm-hmm.
And in those 40 minutes, he averaged 22 points, and that's what moves his numbers up. So when he is sixth, and
It should be a no
Malcolm Brogdon
contest.
didn't start a single game this season. He's playing true six-man role,
Yeah.
and I think a bit of this is ruined by Tyler Hero being sixth man of the year while playing 32 minutes a game and starting whenever anyone was out. So I kind of think we should be more like trying to explain what the sixth man award is for and what should it be. Like you could actually have players starting 40 games and going on the bench 42 games and average 33 minutes, and we could be like, is it Skia sixth man of the year?
Right.
It should be some standards here.
Well, I don't want to punish quickly for starting those games
Yeah.
when like hey, he's this sixth best player. When a guy is injured, he's going to start, like for the team's sake. That shouldn't punish him for this. But if you're going to factor in, hey, when he did come off the bench, he averaged 12. Meanwhile, Brogdon has come off the bench every single game, is averaging 15. Like I think this should be pretty open shut that Malcolm Brogdon is the sixth man of the year, but the sports books are not
I
reflecting that.
think maybe a part of it is quickly is up and coming player that's playing the six man role, but Malcolm Brogdon
It's
is
strong narrative
long-time
based.
starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Showtime's
And
in the
also,
comments are saying, recent binds and narrative play into it.
Yeah. And Malcolm
But
Brogdon is like rookie of the year and all the good stuff behind him. So people love the underdog in here, and backing up quickly makes sense in that situation.
I really feel like for these award votes and like NBA draft votes or NBA draft, when you're betting on awards and betting on the draft, I feel like the I do feel like they take recency bias and they take narrative into account too much of sports. I really feel as though, and I've done this for years with NBA draft in particular, the information is out there. You can really get a sense of what a team is looking for and who they want in the draft just by listening to people who have more information than you, kind of doing your own analysis on what the type of player is. And for these award voting, I really feel like you can find some edges just by accessing that information that legitimate voters into the awards are putting out there. So that one still strange to me. But let's move on now. Are you picking Brogdon for your sixth man? Is that your pick?
Yeah, as I said, I will pick Brogdon. I think he should win, but I would love it for quickly because I will love him as a player.
Okay. So let's move now into the MIP voting. It is another two-horse race here, but Lauri Markkanen is the favorite. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on his tail. Pips, who is your selection for MIP?
I love Lauri Markkanen, but I will go with Shea.
Okay. So this is the first time we're going to disagree. So why don't you go first?
Shea is playing on terrible offensive roster. No, like legit lack of shooting. Maybe the worst shooting in the entire league. They don't have anyone that can shoot the ball, even included Shea. So no one that team is able to shoot. And Shea is drive heavy guard, and he's having all-time great numbers on a team that doesn't fit him at all. He doesn't fit great on that team. He's just killing everyone. And he took a huge step. So he went from 24.5 points to 31.5 points. That's 7 points upward.
Also,
And
it's more
efficiency.
difficult to go that far upward when you're already in the 20s.
Yeah. And also, his efficiency skyrocketed while moving up 7 points a game. Like usually players when they have such a huge increase, like the efficiency drop. His efficiency increased, and not by slight, but huge increase. Last season he was 55% true shooting, below league average. This season he's on almost 63%. 63% on 31.5 points is unbelievable all-time great, deserving maybe even first all NBA team.
That's where I
That's
had him
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, that's absurd. And I just can't have Lauri Markkanen, which I absolutely love Lauri Markkanen, everything he did this season. But the way Shea playing and he played, and he actually was holding this poor roster, and they'll probably make the plane. Before the season, everyone's thinking, okay, they're tanking, they will be probably dead last when there is chat news that he's out. Everyone was thinking like there'll be like Spurs, Houston Rockets, and Thunders at the bottom of the Western Conference, and for them being that competitive and winning so many games, and it's everything led by Shea being amazing. I just think this is a bigger step that Shea took than Lowry took. Lowry took amazing step, but he was just underutilized in the NBA, and the way he's playing with his country and in Europe and in competitions, everyone from Europe and everyone that knows Lauri Markkanen knew that he could do it. Not at this rate, but I think I'm just trying to explain. So my opinion on Lauri Markkanen and what he's able to do, he showed me that he can do it better. But I think the difference between my plateau and the plateau of Shea and moving up is bigger.
This is very interesting because I pick Markkanen for the exact same reason. Because not just because I'm Canadian and Shea is Canadian, I felt last year like Shea was a superstar already, and he's just elevated that to a different level. So I am in the exact same boat, but because I think Shea was already really good. Now he's just showing me a new level. Whereas Markkanen went from like a fourth option. He was in the Isaac Okoro role last season for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I have him in my All NBA team this season. So he went from a role player to All NBA. Whereas for me, Shea went from like at the very minimum a star to a superstar. Like, obviously that's impressive. Like if this is a pretty tight race here, as we see from the odds, the odds don't really show it. It's minus 250 on Markkanen, plus 200 on Shea at FanDuel. But
yeah,
I think Markkanen's jump is more significant. That's why I take him.
I think this is a narrative thing because you remember Lauri Markkanen as the part of Cleveland Cavaliers, but if you take a look at who was Lauri Markkanen like second year, he was averaging 19 points with the Bulls, and he was that option. And then they gave up on him. He had terrible coaches, and they just didn't put him in good places to succeed. And then he was like, okay, guy, some part of the rotational guy, and then he moved to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they already had their guys, and they put him in the stretch 4-3 option, and he was okay, I'll play it. But everyone watched Euro basketball this season. Lauri Markkanen is a remarkable scorer. He put 45 points on my Croatian national team, looking so effortless. We threw everything, even like everything, sink at Lauri Markkanen, and he still scored 45 points. And he was doing, I think he averaged over 30 points on Eurobasket. That's just, and that's in Europe. Better defense, not better, more difficult to score, lower minutes, and he was just killing it in high level competition. I'm not saying that I have a narrative because Eurobasket, but I watched him so many times playing in
Yeah,
Europe.
no. It's your perception of Markkanen was higher than others, so this isn't as
Yeah,
surprising
yeah.
as it is to
I,
me.
I just I
Where I
just
kind of feel
hated
like that about Shea a little bit.
coaching at the Bulls.
Oh, it's
I was
terrible.
too furious with the way they were using him. Then he moved to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They put him in the same role, and I just think he was underutilized. I think Lauri Markkanen like had huge step, but I expected him to be better in recent teams. And yeah, I just think he was he took the step up, but I think he was a bit lower than he should be at the first place.
I remember the coach. It was Jim Boylan. That was the
Yeah,
coach at the time.
one of the
Yeah.
worst coaches ever in the NBA.
Although this is interesting because like obviously he did like the 19 points per game second season, not like anywhere near as efficient as this season where he's shooting 50 and 39 from the field. He's almost at 50, 40, 90. He's at 49.9, 39, 88. And last season he was 45, 36, and 87 on 15 points per game. So I just feel like that jump from like almost a role player to this is just too much for me. But hey, if Shea wins it, it's not like I'd be exceptionally surprised. All right, so interesting that we see the same argument, but on both sides. That's interesting. Let's go to the rookie of the year. So Banchero has long been the favorite. There's been a late push here by J-Dub, Jalen Williams. Do you think the late push is enough to take away Banchero's rookie of the year?
I don't think it's even close. Unfortunately, because I think Jalen Williams had maybe even had a great season. And I
Oh,
think he's
outstanding.
yeah. So yeah, I just think it's the numbers. You look the numbers and you see Banchero with 20 points average, 7 rebounds, almost 4 assists. No matter like the movement for his size, unbelievable. I'm not. I hate his stubbornness and tunnel vision, but that will improve. And
Rookie.
he's unbelievable prospect in this league. And yeah, J Dub is great, but if it look at the season, if you need a third option or fourth option, you are probably going with J Dub. But if you need to develop a first option, it's Banchero by far. And I think people will vote for it easily, and it will be probably the easiest, the highest difference between first and second place of the entire of every award. So it's the easiest one.
It's a fun, it's a fun debate. Jalen Williams, because he's had such a good like second half of the season in particular. But like the reality is Banchero's averaging 20 a game. Jalen Williams is averaging 14 a game. Obviously much more efficient from Jalen Williams, but he's not being tasked with being like the focal point of an offense like Banchero is. The odds reflect this. Banchero is minus 10,000 on BetMGM. Jalen Williams is plus 2,000. It's if it's rookie of the year, it's Banchero. If it's rookie of the like last 3 months, then it's probably Jalen Williams. But Banchero has just been a little bit overlooked because he's playing with Orlando. Orlando haven't gotten nearly as much coverage in the second half of the season, but he's just been humming along with his 20 points per game. And I think that is more than enough to win the rookie of the year. So those are our picks for the NBA awards. I'll flash up a graphic that I have put up here where you see our picks. Pips, if you want to look over that Pistons bet, see if there's anything we can do for a second official play, go ahead and do that
I'll
as
just
I.
take a look at the BetMGM. Can you take a look at the DraftKings price?
Yes, I believe it is still the same. I have not seen the alternate odds being posted for the assists. Yeah, DraftKings still the same, 125. Have a look at MGM. If we have to, we can stick with the one official play, or if you want to take the 5 cents, that's okay as well. But as far as while you look at that, as far as our NBA award predictions go, we have made our selections. So we'll pull them up here. I have gone with Joel Embiid as my MVP, as has Pips. We both have gone with Jaren Jackson as our DPOY. We both have selected Brogdon as our sixth man. MIP is the only one where we differ. I am going with Markkanen, and Pips is going with Shea. And interestingly, we had the same argument for both. We perceive the opposition to be better than maybe others. That's why we don't see the jump as big. So interesting. Pips more I guess attuned to Markin from his European days. I've just been super high on Shea for a while now. And the rookie of the year, no contest. We think that's the biggest gap. It is Banchero as a rookie of the year over J Dub. So let us know in the chat if you have any disagreements with our picks. Let us know in the chat as well if you agree with any of our picks and if you think you're going to be taking any of the numbers that I was talking about there. Plus 250 on Brogdon for 6 man and plus 1200 on Jokic. 7.8% implied probability on Jokic to win MVP is just absolutely absurd. So no full unit on that, but maybe a little bit of extra change. If you got a free bet lined up at any of your sports books, that I think is a very good stab to take. All right. Do we have a verdict here on anything we can do?
I just need 1 second. Need to just.
No problem. Froze at the right time. Froze as he said, I just did take a second. Okay. We'll give him.
Sorry, I need to turn on my VPN just for everyone.
Okay. I see. Okay, that's probably why it froze.
So I can open up the DraftKings. So I can't use it in Europe without the.
Yeah, makes sense. I myself have a VPN for some American books for some content here, so it completely makes sense. Let me read the chat here.
Let's do it like this. So we are shifting from Weizman to Benedict Mathurin over 16.5 points.
Okay. So it is going to be Jaden Ivey over 5.5 assists and Benedict Mathurin over 16.5 points. That is going to be the official play here. Let me get the graphic ready.
Minus 110 at DraftKings.
Minus 110 at DraftKings. Yeah. Feel free to go into it here as I get the graphic up. I have it ready here.
I'll just check Yeah, I mean, Mathurin had some weird games late into the season. So he disappeared entirely for 2 games. A game against the Boston Celtics, he had 4 field goal attempts in 25 minutes. Next game against the Hawks, 4 field goal attempts in 25 minutes. So he attempted 4 field goal attempts in 2 straight games, scored 2 points and 4 points. And I was like, what's going on with Mathurin? He was so aggressive the entire season. Weird, totally like playing against the Hawks, worst defensive team, one of the worst defensive teams, high-paced game that suits him great. He scored 4 points in 25 minutes. But then probably someone spoke with him and explained him that it's the late game of the season, and they want him to play like the first option so they can just try him as the first scoring option. How he'll manage to do it. In the next game, he scored 26 points against the Dallas Mavericks. Game after that, 29 points against the Milwaukee Bucks. Then another weird game against the Thunders, 8 field goal attempts. First, 19 and 21 field goal attempts against Mavericks and Bucks. Then again, back to 8 field goal attempts against the Thunder. Scored 15 points. And the last 2 games had 19 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers and 17 points against the New York Knicks. So over the last 5 games, he had 26 against Dallas, 29 against the Bucks, 15 in a very weird game against the Thunder, and then 19 against the Cleveland Cavaliers and 17 against the New York Knicks. I would say Bucks, Cleveland Cavaliers, Knicks covered in all 3 games, and those matchups are way, way, way worse than the one he has tonight. He's playing at Detroit Pistons. We bet over guys against the Pistons that are driving to the rim and getting to the foul line. Mathurin is one of the highest drivers in the league, getting to the line huge rate. When he doesn't get to the line 6 to 7 times a game, it's a huge surprise because he's just drive heavy. So I expect big game for Benedict Mathurin. They shut down half the roster. So for this game, I think it will be Jalen Smith out, TJ McConnell out, Duarte is already out, Halliburton is out, Miles Turner won't play. So I think it will be 35 for more minutes for Benedict Mathurin and him getting down to the line and just scoring. And Pistons defense is non-existent. They don't even try there. Marvin Bagley is probably back, and that should even weaken their defense. And yeah, I don't see anyone who can just stop Mathurin. He just needs to be aggressive, and he was aggressive in 95% of the games. If he gets the one game and he just doesn't want to shoot, we can't do anything. But this is a perfect spot for him. Huge minutes. They want to give the ball to him and let him cook. Didn't say that tonight, and need to say it in order for us to win. So that part is great. Part of the Jaden Ivey, probably the most improved player over the last month of the season. I just can't get enough of Jaden Ivey. How unbelievable he is lately. I watched the last couple of games and I was just going back and just filming and sending to my friends to just show them how unbelievable moves of Jaden Ivey were. He is just great lately. He was great lately. I think if you take a look at the last 7 games, he averaged 23 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists on like 48% from the field, 40% from the three, getting to the line. He's doing a bit of everything, showing such great control, running the pick and roll, and Pacers defense will allow them to score 120 points or more. And Jaden Ivey will run the offense. He will have players. Pacers will get lost on defense, and he will have like at least 5 assists directly to Wiseman, Durant, and Bagley layups and dunks inside, maybe even some transition dump-offs because he's so quick. So I think Ivy could even get to 10 assists tonight.
All right. So great stuff there on the second official play. Long show. Appreciate you guys sticking out. Here is our schedule for next week. So we have normal pick and roll live streams on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesday will be the 7 versus 8 seeds. Wednesday will be the 9 versus 10 seeds in the playing game. And the Friday will be the loser of 7-8 versus winner of 9-10. So some great games over there with some more lineup certainty as well here, as Sean puts it in the chat here, which is great to see. On Thursday, we'll be doing videos. It won't be live, but me and Pips will be doing a video for the Eastern Conference playoff preview, and we'll be doing a video for the Western Conference playoff preview. But that is it for the regular season. That is the regular season in the books for the pick and roll live stream. It's been, as we looked at earlier, a phenomenal season of bets, and we have Pips to thank for that. So we appreciate Pips for putting the work every weekday morning to get the picks in. And some Felipe in chat, Sean Glenn in chat, Aaron Campbell in chat, shout us out as well. So we appreciate that. We appreciate you guys. You're enabling us to do this content like this every weekday, supporting us. I've had a lot of fun. I imagine Pips has had a good time doing this show as well, but there is a lot more content on the way, as we said, for the playoffs. So get subscribed to the Board YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, stay up to date at the Board HQ. Rate and review 5 stars. You're listening on podcast. And the easiest thing, hit that like button so we can get on some more recommended pages and people can lock in these 2 official plays for today's slate. Here is the recap. And we gave this one out about 40 minutes ago now, but the first official play was Simi Haluk 3+3s. Alperen Şengün 12+ points for -110 odds at BetMGM. Second play, we just gave out Jaden Ivey over 5.5 assists and Ben Mathurin over 16.5 points for -110 at DraftKings. Pips, I'll give you the final words for our regular season here before we sign off for the week.
Yeah, I think with result-wise, great season so far. I enjoyed the show. I'm glad we got over 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate everyone for watching us. I know there are like 50 people that watch every time, that message me every time, that support from the beginning. Some people are the ones that I know for like 2 years ago when I started, and everyone was supportive from the start. And I just want to say that I appreciate everyone, and we'll try to do our best for the rest of the season to the playoffs. And yeah, I just hope we can remain on the same pace with those winnings for the remainder of the season. And I think we will be in some spots that we can do it. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome stuff. Very well said here. And yeah, shout out to the people. I remember some people have been in the chat today who I recognize from like the first show, so the first week. So that is amazing to see. All right, guys, we'll be back on Tuesday. We're going to take Monday off. Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates, but we hope to see you on Tuesday, and we hope to catch these two picks tonight. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.